I'm Thinking of Ending Things misleads you from the start. The title itself can mean so many different things. Had you not known about the movie beforehand, you would be completely misguided. Based on the book by Ian Reid, written and directed by Charlie Kaufman, this movie is strange, and I say that in the best way possible, but no one will walk away with the same understanding. So much is left up to interpretation. That's one of the many things that makes this movie so amazing. A brief overview in case you haven't seen the movie before. You follow Jessie Buckley's character, who has many names throughout the movie, who is in a relationship with Jesse Plemons' character Jake. Over half of the movie takes place inside of Jake's car, with back and forth dialogue that goes on unbroken for minutes at a time. We can hear Jessie Buckley's thoughts throughout the movie, often getting cut off at the perfect time.
I'm thinking of ending things.
Huh?
What?
Did you say something?
She repeats that she is thinking of ending things and how she shouldn't have gone on this trip to Jake's parents' house. Once they arrive at Jake's parents' house, things get very strange. Time doesn't really seem to exist. Jake's parents go from being their regular ages to on their deathbeds, right back to being the same age as Jake. Eventually, Jake and Jesse leave to go back home. On the way, they have more conversations, some morbidly existential. Jake turns into a school parking lot, which Jesse is very against. She really wants to be home, and Jake doesn't seem to be listening. Once there, Jake swears he saw someone inside the school. He leaves to go see what is happening, which again Jesse is very against. Eventually, after time has passed, Jesse enters the school as well to find Jake. Reality sort of fades away and we're taken into a play that includes everyone that we have seen throughout the movie, whether they are in the audience or in the play. A major part that I didn't mention is the janitor. Throughout the movie, we see this janitor of the very same high school that Jake went to. He is made fun of by kids and seems to have a very sad life. As the movie ends, we see the janitor in his freezing truck, presumably dead from hypothermia. There are many ways to interpret this movie, and none are wrong, but there are some more popular ideas than others. An example of one is that everything that we just viewed is from inside the janitor's head. The janitor is Jake, and everything that we just viewed is a random story that he made up in his head while dying of hypothermia in his truck. It makes sense to why his parents couldn't keep an age, and why we would know when to cut off Jessie Buckley's character, and why her name kept changing throughout the movie. Everything is so selective. Nearing the start of the movie, on the drive to Jake's parents' house, Jessie reads a poem that she wrote. This poem that she wrote and read is Bone Dog, which later at Jake's parents' house we find in his childhood room. There are also paintings that Jessie claims to have drawn when she later finds them in the basement. The story is told from Jesse's perspective, which is confusing when you say that it all actually takes place in the janitor's head. But even he forgets sometimes. For example, when at Jake's parents' house, Jessie finds a picture on the wall of her when she was younger. She asks Jake about it, and in the blink of an eye, it is now Jake when he was younger. It all seems like a nightmare. No matter what you do, there is no escape, and I think that's what the movie is trying to say overall. Themes throughout dwell on the fact that humans are the only species aware of their mortality. They explain every other animal lives in the present while humans just can't do that. So we invented hope. It's uniquely human to think that we can outlive death, that something is after the end. Jessie says,
It's a uniquely human fantasy that things will get better, born perhaps of the uniquely human understanding that things will not.
the movie doesn't try and hide what it is saying. It's very open with its message and meaning, you just have to look beyond the surface. Many people gave this movie criticism, calling it boring and pretentious, saying the writing doesn't go anywhere and you're just watching two people bore each other for hours. All the dialogue is crafted meticulously so that you feel on the edge of your seat at just the sound of two people talking. They speak to each other as if they dislike one another heavily, especially with how the story is presented. You never know what will happen next. It's so abrupt when they arrive at Jake's parents' house, on purpose, right after Jesse says,
Now we're both dead.
Ta-da!
On the way back from Jake's parents' house, before they reach the school, they stop at a Tulsi Town, an ice cream place. It's so eerie and it feels like nothing is real there, and this is elevated by a conversation that Jesse has with one of the workers there.
You don't have to go
I don't have to go where?
forward in time. You can stay here.
What are you scared about?
I'm scared for you.
Thank you.
Once they arrive at the school at the end, there's a large dance sequence before the play, and at the end of it, Jake dies. It basically tells you the whole story of how he found a true love and then died without ever getting it. You could take the play at the end as a funeral, or just an ending to a life that was. But let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Disagree?